Hi everyone! So I just wanted to make a really quick video talking about the web-based interview, also known as the WBI for the Disney College Program. I'm also going to talk a little bit about the application itself and the processes to get to the web-based interview. So I'll start with the application. So the application itself is not complicated at all. It's asking you basic questions about where you go to school, if you're a female, what you're majoring in, and your work experience. So something new that was on the fall application was that it only gave you 3 blank spaces for your volunteer and work experience, so 3 total. And before that they're putting a lot more spaces, so it was very weird to people that they're only putting 3. My advice though for that is make sure that you obviously put your most current work, but then the next 2 slots put the work experience that you have that relates most to the Disney College Program or that would surprise them. So for me personally, I'm a mermaid at the downtown aquarium. So right off the bat, I put mermaid, and then my next section I put lifeguard because I'm applying to be a lifeguard for Disney College Program, and then I put Denver Zoo. So maybe that's not my most recent work, but it's the work that I've done lately that I've learned the most from, and that would probably help me the most with my college program. So then after you submit that, you either go into an in submission or you go to in progress on your dashboard of the Disney College Program website. Submission, we don't know exactly what is. We do know that people don't get their web-based interviews as quickly as other people, or they automatically get no longer considered. So submission is scary, but we don't know how to avoid it. And if anybody says that they do know how to avoid it, they're lying because Disney hasn't released that much information about it. It does say on the Disney College Program official blogs that your resume is getting reviewed just like everybody else's, but it's just going to take longer to process, and we don't know why that is. But so you either go into submission and you're going to have to wait longer for your WBI, or you go into in progress. And that's what I went to. I went straight into in progress. Sorry, gotta breathe. I went straight into in progress, and then 2 hours later, I got an email from Disney saying that they were ready for me to take my web-based interview. So for the web-based interview, I did not follow what a lot of other YouTubers say to do, which was sit in a quiet room, have a drink with you, and stuff like that. I didn't do any of that. What I did, because I wanted a conscience, so to speak, I had my best friend sit in the room with me. His name is Troy. I'll put a link to his GoPro videos down below. It's really cool, so check him out. But he sat with me and he would just help me with the difficult problems that I needed. Like, so if a question had more than one answer that I really needed help with, or making sure that I read a question right, so he would just agree with me and he'd be like, yep, strongly agree. Yep, Kitty, strongly disagree, stuff like that. So that was really good to help. And then also he did help me with a timer because the WBI is timed. So he had a timer on him, so each question he would restart it, and we'd know how long we'd have for each question. But I'll talk about that a little bit more later. So the WBI is divided up into 4 sections, and then between each section, that shows you like a little page, and it gives you a break time. So I didn't think that you needed, a glass of water, because if you did get really thirsty or something, you did have a break. So you didn't have to sit there for an hour, and that's what I was really worried about, is that I'm not very good with technology, so sitting down at a screen and reading constantly, like one question after the other for a straight hour, I wasn't very excited about that, so that's what made me really nervous. But the WBI itself is really actually simple, and there's not much to it. I don't even really remember any of the questions, but I will give you a couple examples that I remember. But don't stress about it, you know? Do what's best for you. If working by yourself in a quiet room is the best, then do that. If having somebody there, like your mom or your best friend, is the best, I would definitely recommend doing that because it really helps me out. It really helped me stay calm too throughout the whole procedure, because it is nerve wracking, because the WBI does determine if you get a phone interview. So I'll talk about the sections now. So the first section was a multiple choice section, which is exactly what it sounds like. It had multiple answers for one question. So the question that I remember the most prominent was about a child hitting his thumb with a hammer. And I assumed that the hammer wasn't like a real adult hammer, like it was a hammer of some sort. And what would you do? So the first option was distract the kid and make him laugh about something else, like get his mind off of it. Second one was to comfort him. third was to help his thumb, and then the fourth was to ignore it or something along those lines. So I personally said to distract him and make him laugh, because I know that from my childhood or from my child interaction experience, that if you really comfort a kid and you say it's going to be all right, that's when they start to cry more, because they realize that they should be crying because you're freaking out about it. So the best thing to do is to stay calm. And that's another thing that Disney really looks for in people, is that you do remain calm in situations, that you know how to handle stressful or emergency situations. So that's why I put that answer. But I'm sure that you could comfort the kid too, or you could take care of his thumb. I was really debating between taking care of his thumb and the one that I put. So I think there's definitely multiple answers for some of the questions, but there's other answers, or there's other questions on there that will be like, my enthusiasm levels are, really high all the time. I have no enthusiasm, which what are you gonna pick? Um, and then like moderate enthusiasm, and I only get excited on special occasions. That kind of stuff. It's clear that you're gonna say that you have a lot of enthusiasm because you're applying for Disney. So that's the first section, and like I said, between this section and the second section, you get a little break. And the thing too about those little screens that pop up that give you a break, they have instructions on them, which I'll talk about a little bit more. But make sure you're reading all the instructions before you go on to the next section. I thought that was really important. Oh, and also the first section with the multiple choice questions was 60 seconds per each question. The next 3 sections will be 20 seconds for each question. So make sure you're really watching that time and you're doing it quickly and you're not staying on them too long. Like, obviously, 60 seconds for a question is enough time. And 20 seconds does feel like it's enough time too, except when you get a little stumped. But that's why it was good to have Troy there, because Troy would help me and tell me which one he would think and give me a second opinion. And my best advice too is that if you're stuck between two of them and you're debating about it, use the full 20 seconds, but make sure that you mark one of your top 2 choices. That way it will go through the system, because you can't go back with the WBI. Like, it automatically takes it, so they'll take a no answer, and you don't want that. So make sure you have at least one clicked. But so the second section had bubble points from strongly agree to disagree, or strongly disagree. So in strongly agree, neutral, disagree, and then strongly agree. And in this section, another piece of advice that you should do is that you need to be putting strongly agrees or strongly disagrees. They don't want neutral answers. And agreeing or disagreeing just kind of is like, I don't want to say half-assing it, but kind of half-assing it. Like, have all your feet in the boat if you're going to go sail away. Kind of my thing. But don't be scared. If you do want to put neutral for one, definitely go ahead and put neutral, because I put neutral for at least 2 of them, actually. And I missed one in this section. It was terrifying. I missed one because, I clicked submit my answer, and then it took a really long time for it to load, so I clicked it again, and that was terrifying. So I missed a question because it already had loaded, and I didn't realize that it loaded, so it missed a question. And the thing too is, though, that if you do miss a question, what happens is it pulls up another little screen, like what it looks like for it looks like the screen when you take a break. That's what it looks like. I don't know. And you get a break, so you can like take 20 seconds and collect yourself and then keep moving on to the next question. So I thought that was really nice. But yeah, don't be scared if you miss anything, and maybe put a neutral 1 or 2 in there. It's not a big deal, but just make sure that you're saying what strongly agree or strongly disagree. My other piece of advice is, remember how I asked about that enthusiasm question last time? If you said that you were highly enthusiastic, when it says that, or high level of energy on this section too, it's going to talk about having high levels of energy again. So make sure you're saying strongly agree and you're staying with that. It also will talk about like people want to help you because you're always helping them. So make sure that you're keeping with the idea that you are always helping them. It's not because you're funny or you're enthusiastic, so on and so forth. Just make sure that you're being consistent. Another good reason to have your friends, so that they can tell you put this for the last answer. Really think about having somebody there with you. I think it really helped. But the third section is where I think Disney tries to trick up some people, and maybe this is why people get cut during the WBI, is that in the instructions, if you read it, it says either put strongly agree, neutral, or strongly disagree. But there are bubbles that you could put down where the agree and the disagree would be. So maybe that's how people get cut, is that they don't follow the instructions and they put agree or disagree, because there is a bubble that you can put there, but they're not telling you that they want the agree or disagree. So make sure you're watching that. Really read the instructions and only put down what they want you to put down. But same kind of questions as before. Just, do you agree? Do you disagree? And then the fourth section was worded a little bit differently, but it's kind of the same as the second and the third section. It was, I can't remember the wording exactly, so pardon me, but it was something like, I most relate to, or I don't relate to this at all. And then in the middle was something like, I don't necessarily relate to this, but I don't necessarily not relate to this, or I don't necessarily agree with this, or I don't necessarily disagree with this, and then I strongly agree, and then something like that. So just a little bit changed up on the wording, but it wasn't hard. It really wasn't. There was nothing to be nervous about. It probably took me 30-ish minutes, 30 to 40 minutes to complete. I'm not really sure. I didn't time it. But it was a lot of questions. They don't tell you the number of questions you're going to take. It doesn't even say, number question. It doesn't tell you what question you're on either. So just keep going, keep powering through it. You'll be done shortly. But since they don't tell you what the questions are on that you're on, it just pulls up the screen at the very end and it says congratulations, or it says thank you for applying, but you're no longer considered. And the difference in this semester too is that with the congratulations notification, some people's congratulations said that they were a strong candidate, and then the other people's just said, you passed the WBI, please move on to your phone interview. So that's kind of interesting too. But mine personally, I passed the WBI, so yay! Go me! I was actually really excited, so I was pumped, hugging everyone. But so I did pass, and mine did say strong candidate, and I moved on to my phone interview, which is actually tomorrow. So I applied on a Monday, and my phone interview is on a Thursday. It's tomorrow morning at 10:45. So wish me luck, or cross your fingers while you watch the next video if you're watching this way later in the season. But I hope that helped. If you guys have any more questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Like I said, I don't really remember most of the questions, but I could maybe make up some that I would think would be on there. I don't know. But I really do hope that helped. And again, wish me luck. I'm really nervous. I hope to see you all in 2015. Bye.